Good afternoon and welcome. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. Addenda?
No addenda tonight.
Okay, approval of last month's minutes. Has everybody looked at them? Any changes? Motion from Mary Lou to approve. Second
Second.
from Gia. All those in favor of approval? Opposed? Minutes are approved. New business? BR 24-1.
Very good, thank you. Yep, 24-1 is located at 206 Forest Avenue. That's in the North Anderson Historic District. And if you see on the overhead, you can see the property highlighted in red. It's just to the east of Lindley Park, less than a block off of Lindley Park. And the applicant is requesting to replace a shed in the backyard. There's currently a larger barn-shaped accessory building in the back, and the backyard is surrounded by a privacy fence, so the new shed will not be visible from the street. And you can see in your packet the detail that we're talking about this evening, but the shed will be painted a Sherwin-Williams Valley Forge tan to match the main residence with architectural shingles on the roof. It's a smart side engineered wood siding on the building, and it also has 2 exterior windows associated with that. As you can see on your screen, this is the house we're talking about. Again, the building is to be located in the back. There's a small site plan we'll get to in just a moment. Please forgive me. And this shows the 12 by 24 dimensions of the shed. And you can see the details that were included in your packet. This shows an aerial of the rear yard. You can see the building where it's to be removed in the back, and the new footprint's not exactly where the existing one is, but as you can see, it's generally in the same location. This is the building that is proposed to be removed, so the new one will replace that. And again, it's a 12 by 24 building. I think the dog will stay with the property. And again, this is a front view of the house. And when you review an application such as this, you should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 6 of the Design Guidelines. And the following applies: that an accessory structure should not overwhelm or visually compete with the primary structure. And as I mentioned earlier, it will be hidden from view from the street. It does comply with the design guidelines. The building will be painted to match that of the existing residence, and it does replace an existing structure. So from a staff perspective, we do recommend approval of this request.
Any comments or questions?
I had a question about, are there doors on either end? Is that what I'm seeing?
I believe that's the case based on the diagram that I'm seeing.
So the larger door, I didn't see a picture of that.
I don't know if the applicant's coming in yet for 206 Forest Avenue. If so, they could answer the question, but I don't think the applicant is in attendance.
If you look at the third page, I think, so there's the picture of the house, and then there's the diagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you look at the third page, it's not like very clear, but you can kind of see what the front door structure looks like in the bottom left on the panel that says perspective, I believe.
Like a double door.
Where it says back underneath it.
Yeah, go back a couple of pages.
But I thought it said 2 windows. This,
2 windows and a double door.
but there's a third window.
It does show a window on the opposite end of the door, according to this diagram that you see in front of you.
I looked at the house, and the reveal on the siding on the house appears to be somewhere around 8 inches. If they use composite material such as hardy plank, hardy board, that reveal, it would be real easy for them to match. It does look like, on the right side, it does look like that would be a double door.
Correct.
Is the applicant here, Maurice?
Unless somebody came in, I don't think so, for 206 Forest. No, sir.
I guess I would assume the trim color will match the trim of the existing house as well.
The level of detail we received does not show that, but they did want to paint the building the same color as the body of the house, so we can talk to the applicant about making sure that does take place. It would make sense for that to be the case. So we can certainly recommend that or require that for them if you so choose.
Is that a double door a concern?
No, I was
Okay.
just trying to get an idea of what it would look like.
Any other concerns or questions? Do we have a motion to approve with a requirement to match the trim color to the house color? Motion. We have a motion from David. A second? From Billy? Any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. (24-2).
Yes, sir, thank you. This pertains to 117 Henry Avenue. This too is in the North Anderson Historic District, and you can see the property highlighted in red. You can see Lindley Park to the west, Main Street to the east, so it's in mid-block. And the applicant is seeking approval for fencing, and it's actually two different types of fencing, and it'll be more clear in a moment, but there's a request for two different types of fencing, mainly to match what's existing around them. But aluminum picket style fence would be used for the gate on the left side of the garage, or actually on the left side where the driveway is, and then aluminum picket by the garage to match the adjacent neighbor's fence. A wooden privacy fence would be used at the rear of the property to match the fence that's already in existence to the right. And we can scroll through and look at some of the photos here. This is the property we're talking about. Again, we're talking about on the left and then in the rear on the right side. And, okay. This is kind of a sketch of what we're talking about, where the fencing would be located. In the green is the aluminum fencing, and it would attach to existing aluminum fencing on the left side of the property. In the brown or red, if you will, it's a 30-foot section of a privacy wooden fence, which will match the existing wooden fence on the right side of the dwelling. And forgive me, this is loading a little slow. This is the existing wooden fencing on the right side, so that would match that and continue on the rear property line. And as you can see here, this is the aluminum fencing that they would like to mimic and have on the left side of the house with the gate and to attach at the rear of the garage. And you can see where the garage is located in this perspective at the end of the driveway as seen from the street. And you can see the existing aluminum fence that's there. They just want to attach it. And over here, you can see another perspective with the existing wooden fence where they want to attach, just so they can frame everything in and have security in their backyard. And when reviewing applications such as this with fencing, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 5 of the design guidelines. And it states that a fence or site wall should be in character with those used traditionally and relate to the principal structure on a lot. And the types of materials that we've seen come before us before are wooden, aluminum fencing such as that. So from a staff perspective, we do recommend approval of it because it does comply with the design guidelines. It coordinates with 2 different neighboring fence types, and it's set back from the house where it minimizes the street view, if you will. So again, for those reasons, we do recommend approval of it. And the applicant is in attendance if you have any specific questions.
Got a couple questions. The wood fence, that's 6 foot high?
Yes.
6 foot, okay, yes. And the aluminum gates would match the same style as the fence itself?
Yes.
Is the aluminum? Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Well, I think, do you mean would match the fence of the neighbors who's there, or the wooden fence that's in
The-
place?
The neighbor's metal fence, right?
Okay,
Yeah, it's on that side. It ties into the
Got it.
neighbor's metal fence.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Were you gonna say
Motion from
something?
David?
I just had a question about
sure.
the white part of the fence. So I saw in the before picture, and I see in some of these pictures, like right that one that you just scrolled past, there's a white fence. Is that actually the house across?
That vinyl, does that look like vinyl?
Yes, it's, this vinyl, white vinyl fence from the, our neighbor's fence that kind of fences their yard. And then there's a, like a 7 blocks that are there for, I guess, I don't know, the lot itself to kind of separate the lot.
Mhm.
Then we have a little bit of, about 5 feet of land that's, for drainage. So that kind of goes between our lots. And that's where, and then our garage starts. So I guess we're missing a photo where that's kind of more visible.
So you will connect that wood fencing from the back of the garage over to that other wood fencing we see in this picture?
Yes.
Okay, and what will be the height in relation to that white vinyl fencing?
I would say that it will still, so if putting a 6-foot wooden fence, I think that this is a white 6-foot vinyl fence, and it is a little bit higher, a little bit taller, sorry, because of the,
Does the property
land
step
kind of
up?
goes
Property,
Yeah.
Property step up?
Yes, so I would say that with the privacy fence, to match the height of the one that's on the right, the
Right.
white vinyl will be visible a little bit,
Okay,
maybe like a foot.
And there's a gap in between though, you said about a
Yeah.
5-foot gap?
Yeah.
It's just hard to tell from this picture, so that's why I
Yes,
wanted to
it's
clarify.
true.
Okay.
So there would be some type of easement back there.
Right, and I have no further questions. I just kind of wanted to clarify
Mhm.
from this picture how the white fence would
Yeah,
interact
it's a
with,
good question.
with the wood.
Yes.
Yeah, there will be definitely a gap between the 2 properties because of that, because of the garage.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments? You have a proposal, a motion? Motion from David to approve as submitted,
I would second.
a second from Greg. Any more comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? It passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
24-3.
Yes, this is located, the physical address is 801 East Greenville Street. It has 3 street frontages, East Greenville Street Boulevard and also Ridgecrest Avenue. You're probably very familiar with this property. It's a medical facility. It's been there for many years. And the applicant's requesting approval to install 2 new non-illuminated monument signs on each corner. And also, they would like to install some no smoking signs and other 3 window signs on the property that's geared more toward your internal circulation as you enter the building. And these signs do coordinate with and are part of a larger rebranding by ANMED on all of their sites around Anderson. We've approved several sign packages for them in recent months, not before you, because I guess this is the only property that's located in a historic district that's owned by ANMED right now. And this is in a residential historic district, so the guidelines really don't address commercial signage, but again, there's several commercial entities in this block area. So from time to time, you will see some requests come before you like this. But what they're proposing to do is to install 2 new signs in the location where the existing ones are located. You can see what they look like now. And there's one at the corner of Greenville Street and Boulevard, and then there's another one further up by Ridgecrest. They would like to replace it with 2 monument signs, as you can see in the photo beside it. The city passed new signage regulations back in August. These new signs do meet the guidelines, so they're monument signs and they have the square footage that are in keeping with this zoning district. So they do meet the city's guidelines from that perspective. And we do recommend approval of it because the character of the street is improved by replacing the existing dated signs that you see before you. They're actually smaller in square footage. And the design characteristics enhance the corridor of East Greenville Street. Again, it's in keeping with our new signage regulations. And the design characteristics of the proposed sign coordinate with signage on the adjacent ANMED campus or nearby ANMED campus. But again, it does meet the city's signage regulations from a square footage perspective. But again, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have for this.
The no smoking signs and the 3 window signs,
Yeah, scrolling down to them, you can see okay. Your window graphics here. As a matter of fact, the no smoking signs, I don't see those in this diagram, but it is my understanding that they are to be located by the entry door.
like the no weapon sign.
That is my understanding, yes,
Uh,
just having that informational graphic attached just to ensure that the public does not smoke upon entering the building.
Comments or questions? Everything good?
Good.
All good? I hear a motion? Motion from Jill to approve? Second from Billy? Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. (24-4).
Thank you. This is 422 Watson Avenue. It too is in the North Anderson Historic District, and you can see the property highlighted in yellow. Again, the evidence of Lindley Park is over to your east, a block or so away. The applicant seeking approval to modify the left side of the house. It appears that the left side of the house was maybe a garage at one time, but that has been altered. And the modifications that are coming before you this evening includes changing 2 existing doors into windows and then adding another entry door. Again, all of this taking place on the left side of the house. New lap siding on the left side of the house will be fiber cement to match the look of the existing wood siding. And the side of the residence will be painted to match the existing building colors of the house. And then the new windows will be vinyl SDL grids to match the existing windows on the residence. And we can go through what we're talking about here. This is what is existing on the left side of the house. You can see the 2 doors. Again, this is just a drawing of what you see here. What's proposed is, again, the replacement of the doors into windows and then adding a door on the right side of the dwelling. And when reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 3 of the design guidelines. and it states that you're to preserve and maintain significant stylistic and architectural features, and when replacement of facade material is needed, use materials similar to those employed historically. And when looking at this proposal, it is on the left side of the house. The architectural detail, materials, finishes, paint has been selected to comply with the design guide. It matches the house. Also, this addition is not really visible from the street. It's on the left side of the house, so it does not adversely affect the perceived character of the neighborhood. Again, this house may have been altered somewhat anyway, and we do recommend approval, but one thing I do want to note is that they are proposing to use fiber cement on the left side of the house, and again, the body of the house is wood. We can discuss that if needed. I believe the applicant's here this evening, but we can have further discussion if you need to have more detail on that.
Can you go back to the photo that shows the existing windows in the house?
There's a window.
The windows in the house.
I'm sorry. Okay, I was going to show you that behind that shrub is one of the windows. So,
Mhm. Okay.
can you see that? Okay.
Appear to be, is that 6/6 with exterior mullions?
Yep.
Will the new windows be 6/6 with exterior mullions?
It is our understanding that it will match what is on the front on that side of the house, but if the applicant is here, we can get confirmation on that.
And
Yeah.
any other questions? Comments?
I did have a question, the windows, the three that are in the little passageway, or whatever that room is, are white or cream color, and the other ones are I just was wondering what color the new windows, what is proposed for that?
Oh, I see what you're talking about now, yeah. Oh, the applicant is not here. My
Yeah, it's not
apologies.
here.
Do we know what the new door is proposed to look like?
Do not. No details are provided for that.
I guess one other question I have is, you're saying right now that they believe that this is wood siding and they're going to change it, is that correct? Right now, currently, they don't have corner boards on their house. They have like a mitered corner there between, 3/4 inch lap siding. And that can't really exist very well if they're actually going to transfer into like a cementitious board on that side. And so in order to keep that mitered corner, they would need to go with a like match. So I guess I would,
So they would have to use wood or replace it all, I guess, with hardy.
Gotcha. Sure.
We need to table it.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of difficult to miter a corner with hardy
Yeah.
plank or cement board.
And I think they're also going to need a handrail coming out of that door,
Yes.
down those steps, so we'll need to know what that is, the material of that as well. So that, this may need to be tabled until the applicant can be here.
Yeah, we can certainly pass that information along to the applicant that more information is needed and bring it up at the next meeting if you so choose.
Any other concerns or questions that we need cleared up?
And the new windows, these double windows that are shown here, Maurice, are those going to be casement windows or double hung?
We will get that
Yeah.
answer
Okay.
for you,
Window
yes.
type. Yeah.
I'm making a list of a few things just so they will be prepared for these questions when they come back for you in March.
Okay.
Any others? Any other concerns?
Why are there steps there?
I guess they're raising the floor in the garage
Yeah.
for some reason. To match the house, I guess, the house floor elevation.
There seems to be a lot of questions.
Another thing we
Well,
got
I
to
need to
see.
be able
Yes.
to,
Yes.
Too many unknowns.
What's the guidelines on how high the steps can be before you're required to have a safety railing?
36?
I
More
think
than two steps?
I think any set of stairs, you have to have a handrail on
Any
both
step?
sides.
Okay. So you, Maurice, you got all those?
Most of them. So, there'll be a couple of surprises when they come back too, I'm sure.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to table this till next month? Motion from David. Second from Mary Lou. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried to table this item till next month.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is BAR 24-5. It's 120 East Earl Street. It's in the Central Business District, the Downtown Historic District. This property may sound familiar to you because it's come before you on a couple of occasions with some building renovations. It's the old Orgray area. And you can see the highlighted area between Main and McDuffie Street. What's coming before you this evening is a request for a new sign. And the sign is a hanging sign off the front of the building, approximately 4 square feet in size. You can see it located right here. Basically, it is a projecting sign. It will have external illumination hanging to illuminate the sign, as you can see in a moment, with lights such as this. So this is what's coming before you this evening. Simple 4 square foot sign. Here are the level of detail on the window graphics. Sorry, I forgot to include that in my comments a moment ago, but you can see simple window graphics on the doors, 2 square feet, or 20% of the window size, which is permitted in our guidelines. So again, this is coming to you with a request or a recommendation of approval from the staff. The applicant is in attendance tonight if you have any questions for him.
Questions or comments?
I like it.
Colors on the sign, everything, okay?
No, but it looks like a lot of the other signs that have gone up downtown, so.
Does, looks
Forms
good.
of character.
Looks good, okay. So if there's no more comments or questions, do we have a motion?
I move to approve as
Motion from
submitted.
Greg to approve. Second from David. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. -7.
Okay. Next is BAR 24-7. It's 521 North McDuffie Street. It's in the Downtown Historic District. It's located at the corner of North McDuffie and East Calhoun Street. And this is the White House, as you can see here, is the one we're talking about this evening. And the applicant's requesting approval to update the existing office building to accommodate multiple individually leased offices that are more usable, accessible, and while still maintaining the historic accuracy of the building. They propose to use new materials that will match existing elements in design, details, dimension, and color. And specifically, they're requesting to replace the ramp and handrail system that you see on the front of the building and bring it into compliance with current codes. They would like to replace inefficient windows with energy-efficient windows and also reinstall windows that were previously removed. And that was actually on the Calhoun Street side of the building. If you ride by there, you can see that there are some windows that were removed. I have a photograph that was not included in the package. It's on the top here. You can see where the evidence of windows were probably located at one time. They would like to replace the non-compliant entry steps on the right side of the building with a landing and steps also per code. And then in the rear of the building, they would like to replace a failing rear entry door and porch with a new door, porch with roof, and handrail and guardrail system as well. So just bringing a lot of things up to code. This drawing that you'll see in your packet, let me scroll down to it again, it's moving slow. The area of the windows we were talking about, you can see, when you see the photograph that's being passed around, there's two windows that are missing, and then one in the rear, they would like to add another one that's in a historical location as well. So they would like to add windows and again, bring other items up to code using materials that are consistent with the building. And when reviewing applications such as this, you should look at the standards set forth in Chapter 6, and that states that design and alteration to be compatible with the historic character of the property, and also to minimize the visual impacts of an addition to a commercial building. And I think it's important to note that there have been alterations to this structure over the years, some significant ones. And of course, our goal for the downtown district is that renovations do not destroy unique architectural characteristics and features. It's also compatible with the surrounding area, and the overall character of the downtown's protected. And we do think that this is returning some of the historic character by adding those windows back. And again, looking at everything else, bringing it into code, the staff recommends approval of it. And I'm certain the applicants here tonight, if they have any questions, if you have any questions for them, they can better address some of the specific details of the request.
Okay. Replace the ramp and handrail system to bring it into compliance with the codes. That the handicap ramp?
Yes.
Will the new railing be wood or steel or aluminum?
The original design called for aluminum, but that was before we realized it was historic. So we could do it however you guys see fit, whether it be wood or aluminum railing.
Comments? Wood, aluminum, steel?
I think either one would be acceptable per our guidelines.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions?
Railing?
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
White powder aluminum.
What?
Maybe white powdered aluminum.
White powder coated?
So it just kind of blends in.
Would aluminum or steel white powder coated be acceptable?
So depending on, so we've got thoughts around coming back and replacing siding with potentially a hardy board type material to bring it up. I don't think that white vinyl really is the historic, right? So to whatever we do, like whatever money we spend, we have no issues on how we spend it to bring it up to as much as we can afford to its historic originality. I have no problems with white powder coating, but if we were to ultimately change the siding to a more historic, I believe this is a what you would consider a Victorian house. I'm not sure how many. I'm not a designer, so I haven't done the research on what handrails would look like. Currently, they're white wood. So if that's what you guys recommend, we really are indifferent.
White wood themes in more appropriately.
Okay.
We have approved some metal railings, but the white wood does fit that time period.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
if we had a preference, I would say wood, but I think either material is
Could we get away
acceptable.
with a white aluminum from a maintenance perspective?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
Why not? Because they would have done iron back then.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
would look like, aluminum.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, again, like, we're looking for guidance from you guys as well. We've got a budget to spend, we're gonna spend it, we want it to be as, I'm local here. I'm not an outside guy looking to flip this would be my office space. So I wanna be proud of it for our downtown.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, the metal railing would be less maintenance in the
Less
future.
maintenance, yes, sir.
Might be slightly more expensive to initially put up. But long-term, less maintenance.
Yeah. And it'll still give that look of a white picket,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
I really like that you added the windows back to that tower element.
It doesn't look
Yeah,
good the way it is.
Yeah.
So I think the windows add,
makes a huge difference. Yeah.
You gonna replace all the windows with energy-efficient windows?
Yes.
Okay.
Will they have exterior grids?
Yes.
So, funny thing is, before I realized it was historic, I purchased all the windows for this house.
Ah,
And then 2 days later found out that it was historic. I was able to actually stop the order so I could still change the windows. But yes, the plan is to do, I think that the 6 grid. at the
Exterior grid.
top. My question for that is, do you want them to be on the exterior, on the interior of the window? How?
exterior.
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 Okay.
Exterior. And it looks like they're 6 over 1,
Yes.
so that would be,
Well, that's one of the problems, is they're a mismatch, because some of them on the lower, I think, are 15 grid.
if you look at the bottom left and the top left, you see a 6 over and a 15 over and a 6 over.
Mhm.
And then on the right, it's completely different.
Yeah, so we don't know which direction to go with the grids on those as well.
But you are going to replace those
All-
15 over 1 with something?
If you guys give us guidance, like again, as long as it's within our budget, we are indifferent to 15, 6.
The grid system costs $15 more per window, so we're not talking a big chunk to do the grids. We would like your guidance on how the grids, do you want them to be the 6, the 15, or?
Have you checked to see if you could get the 15?
I have not, but I have a custom window maker that makes all my windows for me,
Right.
so I think I can get them, but,
I mean, that's obviously a pretty unique feature
Very
of this
unique
house.
feature.
Yeah. That
so with your guys' blessing, I would prefer to get approval for both.
Right.
And we would try to do the 15 and then punt to the 6.
And it's been noted that this has kind of been a mismatch of, over the years, we kind of did this and this and this. Do you
Yeah.
know if that 15 over was the original design of the house?
If I had to guess, the 15 was the original and the 6 was later replaced at a later time.
Okay.
yeah, you may have trouble getting that 15 light.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
possible that the 15 was for the first floor and the 6 was for the second floor.
Would, if.
You have any old photos? Sorry.
I have looked and looked and looked, and I can't find anything.
Okay.
If you're unable to get the 15 and you want to keep that, would an interior storm be an option to make it, to be able to leave that and still make it energy efficient?
I'm sorry, repeat that? I can't hear very well.
If you're unable to get, I'm sorry, I may have this in the wrong place. If you're unable to get those, if you want to keep those 2 windows that I think are wonderful, yeah, and over there too. Would, on those windows, those particular windows, would an interior storm be an option to be able to keep the old windows and make it energy efficient?
My vote would be for that, would be no, just because of the interior that we're planning, to try and keep the interior matched as well for just our company's aesthetic. I will tell you that I really like 15 over 1, and we're going to do everything we can to get 15 over 1.
Yeah, especially from an exterior standpoint, I could probably find somebody that will make it. My goal would be the 15 over 1.
Okay.
Because when I drive up to my own office building, I want to be proud of it. And when I haven't told anybody I bought that building yet because it is ugly. So we're going to do everything we can within the guidelines of what you suggest. And I think and Billy, I heard you say 15 over 1 and then 6 over 1 on the top. That might have been the original design.
Maybe. Yeah.
I really like 15 over 1. If we could do 15 over 1 on bottom and top, I would go for that unless there's guidance.
Is it the same size? Looks like it's a little taller on the bottom, right?
Every window is different. It was,
Okay.
Usually the lower windows
Were taller.
are a few inches taller than the upstairs windows.
Yeah. I think either one would be acceptable. Either you're consistent on the first floor and consistent on the second floor, or consistent throughout,
all the way
I
around?
think, yeah.
Okay. So goal would be 15 and 15, or 15 all on the bottom, 6 all on the top, or
Right.
15 top and bottom, or 6 top and bottom.
Yeah.
As long as we're consistent per floor.
Consistent.
Okay.
Are you keeping the front doors?
So that was another thing that we wanted to change.
Good.
Because those are not, y'all can fight me on it, that is not an original door.
They're not.
I promise you. None of the doors on that are original. And so the thought was to go back to a solid mahogany double door with a 4-pane on each side.
Mhm.
And the door on the rear that you're replacing, what will that look like?
Probably try to do like a metal door on the back just for security purposes. There has been some break-ins already in the
Yeah, I
time
had
that
those.
he's owned the property, so.
Yeah, last weekend we had a break-in, so trying to be as secure as possible.
And then there's another door on the side, to the right side of this picture, if you're looking at it. We would do the same style doors on the front, that 4-pane solid mahogany.
Mhm.
Which is across from Pickle Pallet.
And so the reasoning, the back one is kind of off Main Street and out of view, and is where we think the break-ins are coming from, where those two doors are facing a street. A little bit more exposure, and feel more secure with those style of doors there.
Any comments? The curved area, which probably was a porch at one time, where you had the large single pane windows in there, they'll remain as big, large, single pane windows in that?
Yeah, we're just mimicking that same and putting brand new windows in.
It's a very unique look to that building.
I don't think that was original
Yeah,
either.
it was, I'm sure it's probably a porch.
Yeah, it definitely was a porch.
It was a porch, yeah. It is a unique look.
But it is unique when you come up to the building and stuff. Okay.
Materials for windows, like we were going with a vinyl, is that?
We've approved vinyl windows with exterior grids,
Okay.
never interior grids. A lot of the window companies now are going to basically an aluminum window frame that is vinyl coated. Still gives you that long-lasting finish where you don't have to paint it and stuff. We have approved those. Naturally, everybody prefers wood, but it is a lot of maintenance and it is
Yeah.
expensive.
Very,
Yes.
very expensive.
Okay, what else we got here? We got the rear entry door, porch door. Handrail system for the back door is going to be
I would assume we'll match it to the front.
to the front. Any other questions or comments?
Just to be clear on the windows, I think the most important thing is to get that true divided window look, which is either a true divided window or an SDL, a simulated divided light. So I guess that's what you could communicate to your window guy.
Okay.
Not that it's just stuck on the outside,
Yep.
but it's an actual,
Yeah,
interior and exterior kind of sandwich.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Just as an aside, I at one point for my business looked at renting this space prior to renovation, and a lot of the issues that have been raised tonight were issues for me and why I didn't move forward. So I'm very excited to see this property be brought back to life, and I think it's going to be a great project and cause that corner to be a much better representative of our downtown Anderson than it is currently.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
He's putting a ton of money into this project, so.
Okay.
Him and his dad.
Are we approving the new siding tonight, or is that a separate?
We do not have currently budgeted anything for replacing the siding.
Mhm.
I, again, am completely open if you guys would approve a hardy board for future. I don't, if you want us to come back in the future, I'm good with that. Currently, we do not have plans to replace the vinyl siding, but I would, once I get this building finished. I still hate the white vinyl.
Like for the areas where you're adding windows and modifying the exterior, are you just going to put white vinyl back right now? Okay.
Yeah, we'll match it.
And the area, I was specifically thinking about the area at the front where currently this photograph shows kind of the two side lights. You're going to close that in and I guess put vinyl siding?
Right there off the front.
Yeah, those
That
two
Those are
narrow.
gonna remain there.
Oh, those will stay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try and.
The front elevation doesn't show them.
So the initial plan is to get a good pressure washer in there and clean the building. You know, change the windows, change the doors, get the front and the ramps up to code. Quite honestly, remove that terrible sign in the front. And then see what we have.
Right.
Get some cash flow going, and then we will revisit the vinyl. And I don't see us, I mean, possibly with the vinyl and those two kind of window columns, doing something there, but the concrete coming down. I've got some pictures that show some Victorian rebuilds or bringing it back to its historic nature that box those columns in.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that would be kind of a phase 2 for this, and we can bring that back whenever we're ready. So the request right now is not to approve any type of siding work unless you guys recommended to go ahead and get it approved without a plan to do it yet.
Wouldn't it be better to do it all at one time since you're doing new windows, or does that matter, Billy?
No, the replacement windows pop in.
Yeah.
If that ATM machine, every time I went to it, just let me hit the zeros, then absolutely.
Yeah.
How about the shutters? They don't look like wood, they look like vinyl.
Those vinyl shutters are original to the house.
Those are
They're
original.
not.
So with the shutters, again, a good pressure wash. Let's see what we're working with, and then I hate the shutters as well. I hate the vinyl, I hate the shutters, but you know, the shutters would be pretty easy to change out with what they already are, or possibly build a wooden shutter. And I think that'd be a pretty quick approval, but I don't know how that looks with white vinyl, and I'm not really prepared to discuss that yet. Again, that's kind of why I led with, I'm here local, my kids are in District 5, my wife works for District 5, I'm not going anywhere. I plan to make this something I'm proud of, that one of these days when I'm dead, my kids can sell. So just kind of phasing it in. Eventually, I want to replace the vinyl and replace the shutters. I've got some really nice pictures of some woodwork that's done around these Victorian windows. Not these Victorian, these non-Victorian windows. But right now, I think we need to get, our plan is to get all the things that have to be fixed, because we're investing a wad on wiring, electrical, plumbing, getting all that up to code, doing the interior. So we're minimizing the exterior costs. But the plan is to continue to put money into the exterior after we have the interior done.
Yeah, if you decide to replace the vinyl siding with the hardy plank, yeah, that would be the logical time to do shutters.
Exactly.
I would put shutters over the vinyl now. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve with the window restrictions on it? 15 over 1, lower floor, both floors, 15 over 1, lower floor, 6 over 1 upper floor, or 6 over 1 on both floors.
And then I believe the handrail was the other piece.
And the handrail
On the front and the back.
in the front and the back.
I do believe we're going to have to place a handrail on the side as well. So what you're looking at, I guess,
The left and the right side of
yeah,
those.
where the mahogany door across from Fickle Palette, there will be steps there. I believe we'll have to put handrails there per code as well.
Would you match those?
Yes, sir.
As well.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve with those stipulations on it?
Make a motion.
Motion from Mary Lou, second from Gia.
Second it.
Any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Can't wait to see the results.
Yeah, we're excited.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, while we were acting on that particular item, the applicant for BAR 24-4, that's the 422 Watson Avenue, has arrived. That is an item that you did table because you had further questions. So fortunately, the applicant is here to hopefully address that. Just to cue it up a little bit, again, I know you had several questions and some comments to be made, but I know some of the items were relating to the windows. Are they double hung or casement? What color are the windows? You had questions regarding the ability to use a cement siding on the side, things of that nature. So if you're good with it, Mr. Chairman and the
Yep.
board, we
Yes,
can
sir.
open it back up to the applicant who's in attendance, and I can bring it back to the photos and everything else. Yep. Let me pull this up too for you.
One of the questions is the material for the doors.
The door, so, there's gonna be one new door, and that would be a fiberglass door, that, the customer hasn't specified at this moment whether he wants to glass or not. If we do glass, it's going to be, SDL, grids inside and out. But it'd be a painted fiberglass door. Basically, they're raising the interior level of that home up to the main part of the house. And then it's gonna make those doors he wants to make those two doors windows and add a door on the right side. And then what we would do is fill in with fiber cement of the same size in between, the existing, it's 3/4, it's 9 1/4, it's 1/10 is what it is, the siding. So we're gonna build it out and make it flush, paint it the same color. The new windows will be vinyl double hungs with simulated divided lights, like the ones that are on the front of the building. I apologize, I didn't draw those in there.
There'll just be two sets of double hungs, I guess?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you say on the front of the building,
Sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
it'd be two sets of twin double
Twin
hungs.
double hungs.
Yes.
And when you say matching on the front, do you mean the ones that are like the red in this picture, or the ones that are white in this
The
picture?
ones that are visible, I didn't bring my glasses, but the ones that are visible on the garage on the left there.
These?
Those two, yeah.
Yeah.
So
They'll
the
match
new
those.
windows will match those two?
Correct. We would match that grid pattern. But they would be white vinyl SDL. Yeah.
Okay, handrail for the steps.
Yeah, that's another thing. The guy really, he wants to have a ramp there, but at this point, he wants me to put a step.
That's okay.
So we were gonna build it out and treat it. It would be treated, but painted.
With a painted wood handrail?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And, one of the other things is, the house, it shows that you have mitered corners in the siding
That's true.
with no corner boards,
Right.
You gonna be able to do that with hardy plank?
Well, I was hoping you'd let me put a couple corner boards. Because that's a difficult thing to do with the hardy plank.
Could
We
you
did-
get the wood to match the wood and miter the wood? Or is that a,
You can, but it's really hard to get that now. You gotta buy, you really wanna use something solid.
right?
And it's so expensive to get that. We did a project at the street, and I know you guys saw me on it, on Edgewood, and we wound up just doing the whole addition in the hardy plank, and we bought those, those little aluminum corners to bring it together, because I don't think you can glue hardy plank to anything. But his preference is hardy plank. I think we would match the look of it, but I guess what we could do is pad it out and use the hardy plank and buy those corners again. You know what I'm talking about, the aluminum, so you're not actually mitering it together. There's an aluminum cap that tucks up under each piece that looks like the mitered corner.
Okay.
We did the same thing at, I'm trying to remember the address, but it's on Edgewood.
The 2800 block of Edgewood?
Yeah.
You familiar with that?
Right. This was just last year we did that one. And no one's happy with the looks.
Yeah, my personal recommendation would be, being that you're dealing with such a small square footage, than just to put like material back.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right, there's not a whole lot of it.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, we've taken some down too.
Could you do it at the corner and then transition to Hardy after that? Or would
You'd have to
it
run
be,
something top to bottom, I suppose, at least at the top of the windows.
be able to tell, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with David. I mean, that corner treatment is such a prominent detail of this house.
Okay.
I think,
Can you zoom in on that one?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's several corners like that.
Mhm.
I definitely don't think inserting corner boards in that one location would be the thing to do.
Okay,
I have a question about the door on the side.
yes.
If you put steps under it and then you put a standard door, is it not going to be too tall?
Well, yes, so I'm gonna have to move the header up and everything, so those are going away and the new windows are going up. Yeah.
They're going to be higher, they're going to be, what, a couple of feet higher than these doors are now?
Yes, it's about 16 inches up.
Is that going to look weird?
So maybe I missed it. What is the style of the door? You said fiberglass material.
But
Yeah,
simulated
I
divided
think it's
by.
gonna be a full light with, it'd be very similar
Like a
to-
French door?
Just like those,
Like
Yeah, like
those.
a
yeah,
Mhm. 16 light?
yes. It'll be a right-hand move to the side that's gonna swing in against the wall. And I think, basically he wants me to fill that existing space where the doors were with the biggest window I can get, with a twin double hung. That'll be, SDL once again.
And it will have the exterior.
Correct.
Profile,
Simulated
okay.
divided light, yes.
Mhm.
They're in and out on those windows,
Is the light gonna remain?
yeah.
That's,
The light, yeah, we have no plans to change that.
We still haven't resolved the corner treatment.
Well, so I guess, I can do it with the wood. You're right, it's not that much. I'm gonna have to come up with some solid pine. He asked me for hardy plank, but I'll just get solid wood. I can do that. It's not that much.
Okay. So we have, going back to the wood siding instead of the hardy plank,
Yes.
fiberglass door, 15 light, handrail on the steps,
it'll be painted wood, I believe.
painted wood handrail.
Correct.
That's all we had left over that we had
Will the
questions
door be
on.
painted the same color as these doors are now?
The red,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. We
What
can.
color are the doors
It
on the
needs to
house?
be. He definitely said to maintain the color of the siding. We didn't talk about the doors,
Right.
but we could.
Because I think what makes this house interesting is that little red around the windows in the garage.
Okay,
There's just that little red inside the,
yeah, it does.
it's interesting. That's what I noticed when I go by that. I live in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So that's what I noticed the first time. I'm like, oh, that looks cool.
So the two new windows will have that red grid, or will they be white?
They're gonna be white on the outside, I guess. I don't know, I'm just thinking about the manufacturer that I get them from. They usually come white. Are those red right now on that
Yeah,
side?
they are.
Okay, well.
And
then there's white ones.
And then there's white over here and everything.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
white ones are on the side there, but those are between the glass, the ones that are on the right, which we'd love to
Yeah.
have that for cleaning, but, yes, we can make those the red. Yes, we can.
Okay.
I'll tell them that they've got to be red.
All right. And you'll match the trim details around those windows when you trim it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Will there be shutters?
Well, let me ask you about that. Do they have to be the wood ones? They're not figured at this moment.
If there's shutters, they would not be
You won't
approved
have room
vinyl.
for a shutter on this door,
Yeah.
next to the door.
All right, well, it's pretty reasonable, but we didn't discuss shutters at this moment.
I don't think you have to have
I was
them.
about to say, I don't think they're necessary.
I
I was
don't-
just asking whether they
Yeah.
were, because we were talking about matching. I mean, I don't think with the current design on the windows closest to the door, you could even
Don't have
fit
room there.
shutters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one would be the the double pane, and then the current existing window that's there behind that bush doesn't have any shutters either.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't know what you were
Okay.
gonna do versus the front versus the side.
We currently have no plans for shutters.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've answered all the questions, and it's gonna be, the mullions will be red on the new windows,
Yes, we can do that.
okay?
And red door,
What?
red door.
Red mullions,
And the door.
red door as well.
Red door,
right?
yes.
Taking notes.
Okay,
We're gonna do the mitered corners.
yes, okay. Do we have a motion for all these changes in it? A motion from Jill, a second from Billy. Any further questions or comments?
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Do you get all the changes?
Got them all.
Got 'em all.
Got 'em all.
You're good. That
Thank you all.
concludes.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, is any city business?
Nothing
need to
further from the
discuss?
staff tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody want to just bring anything up on the board business? Business for the board? We hear a motion to adjourn? Motion from Greg, second from Mary Lou. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.